everyone, I'm Katie Kelly. I'm a pelvic floor physiotherapist. I've been practicing for 9 years, maybe a little bit more than that now. And I'm the host for your course that you've signed up for today, so thank you. I just wanted to start off by telling you a little bit about myself and my reason for doing this course. So it's a bit of a personal journey for me because I've had C-sections, but I was already a pelvic floor physiotherapist when I became pregnant, so I felt pretty much like I was well armed compared to maybe the rest of the population going into my delivery. And I had decided not to have any real expectations of what I wanted my birth to be like or to have a real hard and fast birth plan. So when my first pregnancy progressed to preeclampsia and then to HELLP syndrome, I didn't have this overwhelming, gut-wrenching need to birth vaginally. I had tried. And so when they suggested a C-section, I was okay with that. I think that I was a little bit ignorant as to what that actually meant. And that was with my background knowledge as a women's health physiotherapist. So I knew surgery wasn't easy because I had certainly done post-operative rotations before. I've seen orthopedic, knees and hips like a lot of us therapists have. But I really hadn't considered rehabilitation for a cesarean section. So it wasn't talked about in my pelvic floor classes, and I think that I was influenced by general societal views just like lots of other people, so just like what any woman would be who's going into their birth. So that it would be maybe a little bit easier recovery compared to a vaginal delivery. And I was so wrong. I was shocked. And that was the day that I learned there was no easy way to get a baby out. And it's really funny for me to think about that now because I had no idea with the issues that could arise with spinal anesthesia. I had no idea about intraoperative vomiting, which happened for me. I had no idea how common it was for blood pressure to crash while you're on the table. I didn't know that I personally wouldn't be able to use my arms for the 2 to 3 hours following my delivery. I didn't know that my baby would be taken to the NICU and fed formula without my consent and that I would have to wait hours to see him, which happened with both my sons, actually. I didn't know that you could feel pain through your whole abdomen, or the amount of discomfort that you could have when you were urinating, or that sitting would be a challenge, or that sleeping would be a challenge, or that holding your baby and being able to nurse would hurt. I almost choked on hot chocolate when I was in the hospital because I couldn't generate enough force to cough it back out of my windpipe. And I knew to splint my incision with a pillow at the time because I was a physiotherapist. So that got me thinking just how much the average woman, if that was me, reasonably prepared, armed with more information than most going into a cesarean, then I can't imagine what someone who really hadn't planned for it at all or had any post-secondary education on it, what they would have done. And I was advertising myself as a women's health and pelvic floor physiotherapist at the time. So this embarrassment that I didn't understand this naive, I was just so naive about it, led me to stay quiet when my bladder was hurting so badly that I thought it was nicked during surgery. And I had a nurse tell me it was abnormal to feel pain when you were peeing after a C-section, which is just not the case. It was this embarrassment that led me to almost be stranded in a hallway when I had to ambulate for the first time and stuck there trying to get myself back to a room. I was halfway around the ward and couldn't get back to my bed. If this was a knee operation, you would have had someone with a wheelchair behind you or a physio with a walker in front of you. Even years later, when I was on a pregnancy course with a very well-respected physiotherapist whom I happen to think is brilliant, I asked her about how to place pillows over the abdomen for C-section patients during breastfeeding, as I found that my breastfeeding pillow was aggravating, and her response in front of the whole class was, "Pillows don't hurt C-section incisions." And again, I was too embarrassed to say anything. So mine hurt a lot. And I've been through two C-sections now, and I've worked with countless of women who had undergone C-sections, and I'm sick and tired of us pretending like C-sections don't matter. I've spent the last 2 years now reading everything that I can, interviewing physicians, listening to podcasts, writing to researchers, begging for their opinion and their latest studies, talking to women, testing out methods on my patients, and I'm not professing to be an expert because I don't think that there actually is an expert in rehabilitation for C-sections right now. But I'm hoping that if I put everything that I know into a course, that we'll see more and more people take this subject more seriously. So in a few years, we might know even more. From the time that I've been gathering information 2 years ago, I've had to change this presentation so many times because we've had such a wealth of information become available in the last couple of years. So I've been researching and interviewing and trying all these treatments out, and it's really become a passion project of mine, and I hope so very much that you learn something from this course. So I know that I have while making it, and I hope that this just leads you to become a better practitioner with the population that you're working with. So enjoy.